The question has been asked several times as to what is the ghetto stories? What is it all about? So I want to answer that question for everyone. The ghetto stories, first, let's start with the acronym. The acronym is Getting Higher Education to Teach Others. Wow, that's a mouthful. Education. So I'll break it down for each and every one of you. Starting with getting. Getting is what you go out and get. So whenever you get it, you go out to get something, it's called getting. Higher education. So higher, the H, is for when you understand who you are and you're getting to a higher level. So you're getting higher. That's what that means, higher power. Education. We all know what that means. But when a lot of people hear education, they think of an institution. Education is education of self, knowledge of your journey, knowledge of where you've been. That is education. Two, to teach. Two, as you all know what to means, to give. So you pass it on. Two. You know what I mean? So you're going to pass it on to the next person and teach. Every moment in your life is a teachable moment. When you're not teaching yourself something, you're teaching someone else something. So that's what the ghetto story is. So getting higher education to teach others, the others, anybody that will listen. Whenever we have messages that we want to give, we don't have to choose a particular time and place. It's a message, it's a message. Others is whoever will listen, because sometimes the strangest information comes from some of the strangest places. So that's a breakdown of what the acronym stands for. And getting higher education itself started with me. I grew up in a place where, in many places in the city of Toronto, right here, where some of the places I lived were referred to as ghetto. And that meant when you say the word ghetto to a lot of people, it means a lack. Right away, they start thinking of the worst of the worst of the worst. And growing up in those places, there are times, yes, when I experience a lot of things that were at the worst of the worst. But I made a decision that I would not let this mindset of lack get in my way. So it had to get out of my way. And there birthed what I call the ghetto stories, because it talks about people overcoming insurmountable odds. When you live in certain places and spaces, then there's an expectation that you're not going to amount to anything. When you live in places like, I'll name two, a Jane and Finch that everybody knows, and a Regent Park. So when you hear those, oh my God, you're from Jane and Finch, automatically people start thinking the worst of you. You mention a housing neighborhood and it's like, oh my God, you're a thug, and if you're a woman, especially an African woman or a black woman, as they would say, the first thing they start, oh, so how many baby fathers do you have? So it's always comes with a negative connotation. And ghetto stories is to uplift and to release people and their mind of these negative connotations that they tend to want to own. So that's what Ghetto Stories is all about. So I'll be featuring stories of people who have overcome insurmountable odds. And I want to make one thing clear. Ghetto is not a color. Yes, it is not a color. The Ghetto Stories is not stories of black people. The Ghetto Stories is humanist stories of people who have overcome insurmountable odds and wanting to share their stories to uplift somebody's. Because if you know anything about stories and you understand stories, stories heal. Because as soon as you can own your authentic story, you will heal. Yes, so that's a breakdown as to what Ghetto Stories, the platform of Ghetto Stories, is all about. So stay tuned with me, watch me, connect with me, and you learn so much about the people, our humanist stories across the GTA, and eventually I'll take over the world. Thank you for watching.